This is the Lights On Show. My name is Jacob Morset. I'm an honor student at Boise State University, and this is my podcast centered around turning the lights on. I go and talk to day-to-day professionals to learn how they've mastered their craft. We go in-depth on the inner workings of their perspective, their process, and their strategies, all in the hopes of inspiring others. Alright, what's up, guys? So, pardon for my not being able to upload last week. I was packing and trying to fit everything into the car, and then had to move and to college in Boise, Idaho. So it was really hectic, really crazy to even try to think about getting an episode out. So I had to wait until this Saturday when I had a lot more free time to be able to edit and then to be able to make this segment and do all that jazz. So again, I say it in the main part of this. But I'm with Ryan Moeck again, and this is my first upload in Boise, Idaho. So really awesome, really fun. If I sound kind of quiet, it's because it's 7:30 in the morning, and I'm not trying to wake up my wallmate, because that might be a little annoying. So that's pretty much it. So far, I'm loving it. Being with my own person and being able to do kind of whatever I want. And I have the unlimited meal plan, which I'll get to in a later episode. And yeah, it's awesome. The people here are awesome. The campus is awesome. It's super warm, really pretty. And yeah, I'm just really overall excited and really pumped to be able to get a new culture, I guess, behind the mic for this podcast, and hopefully gonna be able to get some really interesting people here, people that are hopefully gonna be able to change the lives of others, potentially through this podcast. So, anyways, that's pretty much it for the Lights On Show news before the episode, and hope you guys enjoy. If you guys do, please follow me on Twitter at lights_show. And leave a rating on whatever listening service you are on. All right, what's up, light bulbs? So we have Ryan Moeck here again. This will be my last episode in Washington before I move. I move on Tuesday. So I wanted to get one quick interview or discussion based right before I leave with one of the people that I respect a ton and has changed my life for the greater, that has been here on Earth. And so Ryan Moeck is here again, and today we're going to be talking about time management, specifically why I think he is a good one to talk to about this is because he works from home, he has a busy schedule, lots of kids, and has lots of side projects and a lot of responsibility within the industry that he's in. So I want to start out with the definition of a word that I'm going to be using a lot in this episode, and it's deep work. So I've mentioned this book before, by Cal Newport, and the book's titled Deep Work, but the deep work in and of itself means professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to the limits. These efforts create new value, improve your skill, and are hard to replicate. So that's what deep work is. So I gotta catch my breath after running downstairs. Okay, so whenever I mention that, it basically means it's distraction-free, it's hard to replicate, and it brings value professionally, which obviously, I guess, to us, not only is professionally, like within our jobs, but within our lives. Like, it brings value, it's meaningful, and it's awesome. And it's hard to replicate. So, it's a quick definition of that, what deep work is. So, now I want to explain why I want to talk about why is time management so important. You know, what are your thoughts on the importance of time management and what it has to bring after hearing this definition of deep work?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's many topics more important than time management. To me, it's both temporal and spiritual. It affects everything, and it determines whether you actually get to that level of deep work that you're talking about there, that level of actually accomplishing something. Everything can slip away if you don't manage your time properly. And I believe time is a gift that's been given to everyone, each of us. And we don't know how much we have. We just got to use it what we do have the best we can.
Yeah, we have to use it to make ourselves happy, to obviously reach exaltation as well. And so, yeah, it's definitely a precious resource that we have and that we can't find more of.
Right.
You know, you're kind of given a time slot, and you have to just kind of work with it, not knowing what you're going to have. Like, my uncle died when he was 32. Some people die when they're 102.
Right.
You know, there's just huge, vast differences. And so understanding time, being able to use it in the best way possible is super important. And I completely agree with that 100%. Like, especially being a student or being, you know, a home worker who works on creative things all the time and has big projects, it's a lot to handle all the time. You always got to make sure you're doing it the best you can. So I want to talk about the first thing we do every single day, which is morning routines. And this plays a huge part in my time management because I see tons of examples of when I have a kind of a rough start in the morning where I roll over and I'm like, because I use my Google Home for an alarm. And whenever I say, hey, Google, you know, snooze versus, hey, Google, shut up, you know, to actually kick it off, it's all about how, like, whatever response I end up giving will help dictate what I eat that day. And then how I eat that day will then replicate into how I feel and how I work and how those things start. So I'm going to talk about my morning routine, and I'd love to be able to hear yours, and maybe we can kind of come to a good conclusion on, like, what is a good morning routine, how to find it, and what does it mean to efficiently run your morning routine. So every morning, whether I'm working in the summer or I'm going to school in the winter, fall time, I always wake up early. I wake up a good hour to an hour 30 minutes, depending on what type of commute I have, before my destined time to be somewhere. So I'll wake up to my Google Home. I always try, I'm really, really stitchy about this. I never try to snooze. I always just try to tell it to shut up, and I always will physically roll myself out of bed just to try to actually get myself out, no matter what, no excuses, nothing. So I've gotten a very determined mindset on, all right, it's morning time, let's start the day, boom. And then every single day in the morning, I take a shower right away, I get dressed as fast as possible, and I eat breakfast every single day without fail. I will never have a day where I do not eat breakfast except for fast Sundays. Because, I don't know, to me, like I talked about, like a good wholesome meal is just so important to the rest of my day, my metabolism, how I feel, the energy levels I have, and just, I don't know, it's just something that's super duper important to me. And also going back on kind of like my showers and my the way I clothe myself, I just try to get it done. I just keep it simple because that's all you're doing, right? You're just bathing and then you're covering up your naked body. That's really all you're doing. And I try to keep it, you know, cut clean, simple. I'll just wear pants or shorts and then I just grab a t-shirt. You know, obviously if I think if I have a little bit more of a better occasion, like if I have church on Sunday or if I have a good meeting I have to go to, I'll try to dress up a little bit better. But I think for the most part, it's just easy to keep it simple and it's way more time efficient. And then as for morning routine, and then I say morning prayers, obviously, and I kind of, you know, I do all the church stuff. You know, I read a good inspirational quote, and then I do some other things that help me kind of make sure I understand, you know, every single day I'm a child of God, and, you know, just help uplift myself, almost have like a spiritual breakfast with that type of stuff. And that's all right after I take my shower when I'm actually kind of awake and getting ready to actually think about what the things I'm about to communicate with Heavenly Father about. So how about you? What does your morning look like? What are some things that you've noticed that you've done? And kind of give me a rundown on that. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, my morning schedule's what you do sounds great, and it's important, I think, to do the same thing every day.
Yeah,
I understand you're talking about that consistency. Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things. And when I don't have the consistency, I feel like my whole day is thrown off.
Oh, for sure, it's really hard.
Yeah, so I typically wake up. I try to wake up before 6. I used to wake up at 4, and I sleep in a little bit more now. I was getting too sleep deprived.
Yeah.
So I try to get up a little before 6, and I usually start my day with prayer and scripture study every morning.
Yeah.
Before I do anything else, and then I'll do that for an hour, and then I will go to the gym, hour and 15 minutes.
So you actually work out. So you like to get the blood flowing, like boom.
Yeah, I'll do that, and then then I come home, shower, and then I try to be at work by between 8:30 and 9 every day, and then I'm going at the kind of the same pattern every single day, 8:30 to 5:30 every day.
Mm.
And it's yeah, so my morning routine is pretty simple, actually. I just do, I've got a pretty strict workout regimen that I have that I keep 5 days a week. And yeah, it's been pretty, it's been evolved from what I used to do. I used to spend 2 hours in my scriptures every morning.
Yeah.
Did that for about 10 years.
Well, because, I mean, that's what you do in the mission, though. So,
yeah.
well, you do,
yeah.
you
And I
have
just,
2 hours. I think it's like, how long is it? On your
well,
mission?
it depends on how long you take breakfast and if you're studying
Yeah.
from breakfast and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's about 2 hours actually, two and a half. I can't remember exactly, but yeah. So I was trying to do about an hour and a half to 2 hours every day. I did that for about 10 years, and that was great. I went back to grad school, and then I wasn't able to sustain that anymore.
Yeah, because that is kind of hard. To
Yeah.
basically, you're reading for 2 hours every single day. That's hard, even if you're not reading the scriptures.
Yeah. Well, and when I read, I don't just I tend to write talks when I write them. So I'm topically studying when I'm in there. So I pick a topic and I just go.
You
on
are
it.
going into deep work within the, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. Yeah.
I mean, that's what 2 hours really allows you to do. It
Yes.
really allows you to grab the value that's in those scriptures, especially in that 2 hour block, right in the morning when you're not distracted. Boom.
Yeah.
Get it in.
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk about, well, you said that you had a transition in a bit. So what made you go from scripture study? Well, you said grad school, but scripture study to working out. How did you notice a transition when you decided to switch it up into an exercise? Because I hear a lot of people, they talk about the benefits that waking up and getting your blood flowing right in the morning, which I've never been able to do. And I consider myself a morning person, but I always just love working out at night if I'm going to do it, just because it helps me wind down. But for some people, it gets them ready to go.
Yeah.
So I'd love to be able to hear kind of your experience about kind of that transition of switching over from a more peaceful, I guess, morning routine to
Yeah, it's intense.
Yeah.
I hit it pretty hard. I've worked out regularly since I was 14. Like I haven't really taken any prolonged time off.
Yeah.
But I haven't had a consistent. I'm at the gym for this long period of time. Like there was a several year period of time where I was actually working out little bursts throughout the day. So every time I'd take a bathroom break, I'd do a set of 30, 50 push-ups.
Yeah.
Or I'd do a set of pull-ups or whatever, just every time I'd leave. And I would just drink a ton of water and make myself have to leave a bunch, and I would just be doing that throughout the day.
Yeah. And working at home, you could easily pump those out too.
Yeah. I was also doing that when I was working at
Oh yeah, but I guess like tech offices though, it's like kind of a normal thing to be doing cool stuff. Like people play ping pong and people it's not really that weird.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So you can do that at certain places, and so that's been pretty regular for me, but I wanted to just kind of consolidate it and kind of focus on specific muscle groups every day. So that was why I made that transition. And I do find that it's pretty helpful. If I don't work out, I'm thrown off the whole day. So yeah, I really do need that. And it's I feel like it helps kind of everything. I actually don't eat breakfast. It's the one thing I do intermittent fasting. So I will eat. I try not to eat after 8 o'clock at night, and I will eat the next day after noon. After 12 o'clock, I can eat.
So you do a 16 no eat eat. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and that's no. I drink water in between. But that's that's it.
Yep. Cool.
And so I work out in a fasted state, and
which I actually do like doing that. To be honest, you feel super good.
Yeah.
Like for real.
Yeah. I'm able to go pretty hard. It doesn't.
And you don't get bogged down. You don't have not sounding gross, but you don't have any feces or any urine in your system. Like you seriously are ready to go. Like a lot of people will have to take pre-workout poops, but when you're when you're intermittent fasting, you're usually just clear.
I feel great with it. So yeah. And it's pretty important. But the thing that I did learn for that period of time where I was doing the little bits here and there was something that has helped me with time management in a way that I learned that every second counts in the day. It's not just what block of time can I donate to my intended goal. It's I have little moments of time where I will have 5 minutes here. I'll have 10 minutes there. What can I do in that 10 minutes of time?
Yeah.
What can I do in that 2 minutes of time? I'm standing in line at Qdoba, whatever. What can I do in that amount of time to kind of further my overall goals?
Yeah.
And so that was, I kind of learned that lesson there, and it's kind of impacted me still today. I still try to be, if I'm at a red light, I'm sitting there I'll pull up sometimes a scripture on my phone, or I'll recite a scripture in my head, or that kind of thing. Or I'm thinking about, I'll do a quick sketch on my phone of an idea that I have or something. And yeah, it's about maximizing. I learned about maximizing every moment of time that I have.
Yeah.
And that's been kind of a life changer in a lot of ways. So.
Yeah, I find that awesome because I see myself doing the exact same thing, and this is part of the reason why I'm so excited to move is because I hate the traffic here. And every single time I sit in traffic, I'm just like, man, I'm wasting so much time. Like,
Totally.
I literally say to myself, I will yell in the car, and I just get so frustrated. I'm like, this is wasting my time. This is bringing no value at all.
Yeah.
Because this book has almost indoctrinated me with that mindset. And a lot of people might say like that's kind of hostile, like that kind of sucks. Why would you always want to be so time crunched? But it doesn't really make me upset. It doesn't hinder me. It just makes me feel like, okay, yeah, like I'm really getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Like I'm not pressured. I mean, yeah, like I said, I get frustrated, but I just get frustrated just because the traffic sucks. And I'm like, ugh, I'm not doing anything. I could be editing. I could be editing a podcast. I could be creating new ideas. Like sometimes I have to sit there and think of these ideas. Like it's, like I have a bunch of the administration stuff I have to do. I have to, schedule things with people. I have to text you. Like sometimes I'll text in traffic trying to be like, all right, I'll set this one up. I'll think of ideas. Like really, yeah. But I absolutely love that mindset. Something that I've done a lot. So for sure.
I think it's a key to success.
Oh, so
honestly.
Seriously.
I think if you continue down that path, you're going to find success at whatever you're trying to do. I think God blesses those who dedicate and do all they can.
Diligently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you said too, you can even work on, come follow me. You could work on spiritual things too, not just temporal things, but you can seriously, if you're sitting in traffic and you're like, man, I'm having a bad day. I need some help right now. You could just say a prayer, boom, no distractions. That's it.
Yep.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
I have done that before because I have had very many times where, especially in Fife, Tacoma area, where people are just jackknifing.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I almost died.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah.
And you just need to calm down.
Yep.
Like, for real. That's awesome. I absolutely love that. That's so cool. We were able to really think about it because I always thought that I was like kind of by myself with that. Like I didn't really think I had people that were so like, I guess, time conscious about what they're doing. Even standing in line for keto, but doing all these things. Like just thinking about that. It really is kind of like a little step towards success.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to do that because a lot of people get sucked into I know this is time for me to go on Instagram, it's time for me to go on social media, and it's like, I mean, yeah, you could do that, but good, better, best, right?
Yeah.
What is gonna be the best for you in the long term, all the time. And
if you step back a level from that, that's exactly right. And if you step back a level from that, why does it matter if I choose good, better, or best? Why does that matter? If you think about really what the purpose of life is, am I going to overcome life or is life going to overcome me? I think that's the main question God wants to know of us.
Oh, for sure.
Am I going to overcome or is it going to overcome me? And so you kind of see, I don't mean to be judgmental with this, but you kind of see in the elderly kind of two paths. Mm-hmm. You see some elderly who are just the sweetest people you've ever known in your life. And you see some who are the most grumpy, angry people. I think the ones who are the sweetest are the ones who overcame. The grumpy ones are the ones who were overcame. I don't know. Maybe
no, I can really see that though, because you can really, and even if like you ask them to share stories of their past, you can see and you can hear in their voice and you can listen to their stories and you can tell which ones were like living it up, loving it, and some that were just all grumpy and just sitting there with a pack of smokes. Mm-hmm. And
I don't mean to be judgmental of this because I feel like I'm overcome by life way too often.
Yeah.
So I don't mean to say, good thing I'm above this. I'm not saying that.
No, but it's just an observation to think about. Mm-hmm. And I think after making the observation, you can kind of choose for yourself, all right, this situation, I can see this going two ways.
Yeah.
I could be the old grumpy person. I could be an old nice person. Mm-hmm. And I think that helps us not only with like our attitudes, but with how we spend our time too. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a crucial thing to ask ourselves when, okay, should I go do this or should I do this with my time? Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I've never thought about that. But really though, if you think about it, that kind of lines up pretty parallel to how their lives end up turning out. And especially after a whole lifetime, man, like you can fake stuff for quite a while, but 60, 70, 80 years, 90 years, 100 years, you're really showing your true colors. You don't care. Mm-hmm. You're just tired of garbage and you just live you. Yeah. For sure. Especially being retired too. You don't really care about social norms because you're just doing your own thing with your spouse or your family. Mm-hmm. I'd say for a good majority of elderly. All right. That's super awesome. What about minimizing distractions? You have 8 kids, man. Mm-hmm. 8 kids. Crazy.
Yeah.
How do you minimize your distractions? And you work at home, which is right in the middle of the living room. And when we
Well, I have an office.
Well, yeah, but it's like right, isn't it that it's the little office that you were in when we made cookies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like right in the middle of the living room in the office, and you have the glass windows, the glass door. You can see everything. How do you keep yourself intact? I always notice myself always getting sidetracked. Like I need to do laundry, and then I'll be like, oh wait, I'm kind of hungry, and then I'll go get food, and I don't do laundry. So how do you do it?
Well, it's intrinsic. Like I find it within me. It has to be within me. I have to say, I have to have a goal that day. And if I don't have a goal for if I've got to get these concepts out by the 5:30, if I don't have a goal like that, it's easy to get sidetracked.
Yeah.
But if I leave right now, then I'm going to have to work till 6 or 7.
Which you don't want to do.
No, I've got stuff to do. I've got a million things I've got to do after I get off of work. I don't have time for that. So I've got to knock this out now. And it's got to be good. I can't just knock out just anything.
Yeah, because it's harder to fix a mistake than it is to do it right the first time.
Yeah. So I get kind of absorbed, actually. It doesn't really matter what's going on around me. I've got to get this thing done. I just go. I just block everything. I put my headphones on, and I just block it out, and I just go.
You're jamming. I have seen you in your jamming state. It's kind of funny.
I usually listen to music that doesn't have words. It's just instrumental.
I love that
just
stuff.
Straight instrumental.
I do that too.
Yeah, because I don't want words distracting me.
Oh, and Aiden talked about that too in our interview.
Oh, right. Yeah, she played up the distractions a little bit more, I think, than it really is in our home. It's not as crazy as she made it out to be, but it's there's ways to do it. If you just got to be intrinsically motivated.
It really does. I think it is a mindset thing.
Yeah.
I think it's understanding the value, like we talked about at the beginning of this podcast. It's understanding that core principle first that I think helps with everything else we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Understanding that time is valuable, that deep work is valuable. Deep work can help success, it can help happiness, it can help you spiritually, temporally as well.
Yeah.
And it's just a super awesome resource to have, more valuable than diamonds, for real.
It is.
And so I think, again, if you understand that, then you're able to have that mindset of like, okay, I'm not even going to be distracted.
Yep.
And then you find the tools, like you put on your headphones. I mean, my headphones that you're wearing right now, they're noise cancellation, and they're Bose QC35s. Yeah, they're expensive, but it was a good investment because I've had to use this many times to block out everything, listen to instrumental stuff, and then not only that, but like you said, I'm just, okay, I need to get this done.
Yeah.
And if I don't get this done, I'm going to be staying up all night, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think part of the key of minimize distractions is, one, it's like understand the concept, and two, it's like kind of like what you're doing, because I feel like it's hard to get like deep into something if you don't like it. So definitely find stuff that you, or try to like stuff that you are trying to get deep work into. You know, like you can't fake it that long. Just like the old people, you can't fake something for an extremely long time. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's a burden that many people cannot bear.
Yeah.
So then, kind of a good transition is, how do we maximize our deep work? So I think this is a little bit different than just like distractions, because distractions can prevent even shallow work. And shallow work is still, I guess, somewhat valuable. So shallow work is defined, I didn't take a picture of it to like memorize it, but shallow work is like, I'm a grocery store clerk, and I'm just bagging stuff. That doesn't really create anything valuable. It's kind of easily replicable. How do you say that word?
Replicatable?
Yeah.
Replicable? I don't know.
I think
It's one of those.
It's easy. It's easy to do over and over again. And distractions can also block shallow work. So I want to specifically talk about, how do we maximize our deep work efficiency? And I want to pull some few words out of the definition again. And it's a state of distraction-free concentration, is where we talked about that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit. So how do we do that? How do we push our cognitive capabilities to our limits? I like to offer a suggestion to that question is be humble. Be ready to fail. Be ready to receive help. Be ready to correct yourself. Be ready for others to correct yourself. To correct yourself. And to understand that we can go farther than what we think we are. Like have more confidence in ourselves. What about you? How do you think that we can continue to maximize our cognitive ability?
Well, I think it comes down to what you're doing. If you are bagging groceries, for example, which I did for a while,
which
in high school.
everyone has that shallow work job.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
We all start
I did that. I worked at a cookie company also in the mall.
Company.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And I got fired from that job, and when I was 17, it was a bad moment in my life.
That's all right. I got fired too. It's okay.
Yeah, but it was. You can do those things and still be thinking about other people or other things and other situations and still do the work. The question about deep work for me is why? Why do I need to do deep work? It depends on the task I'm doing. If I'm doing something that requires that level of mental thought, then I have, I don't know, found my way into a career or some sort of goal, some sort of job opportunity that requires that level of thought. And those aren't easy to find necessarily. That's why a lot of people go back to school, is because they feel unfulfilled in their job. Their job's not requiring that sort of deep thought from them. So I think to even get there, you've got to kind of put yourself in that situation to find a task worthy of deep thought. And to me, that's the biggest challenge. In fact, when I got into grad school, half the time I spent trying to find a problem to solve. I'm in design school. I went to design school. In design, you have to design solutions. Well, to have solutions, you got to have a problem. And to have a problem, you got to know what the problem is. And it's hard to find problems worth solving. Yeah. And so a lot of times you're working on problems that don't even need deep thought. So
like 2 + 2 = 4.
Yeah.
That's kind of way out there, but that idea.
And a lot of times you will have a solution like, okay, I've got sensors. Okay, what can I do with this now? Oh, I guess I could stick them on shoes and see how many steps. So like it's a stupid problem. You don't need to solve that. You got to find a meaningful problem
that brings value.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you find that sort of problem, then I think the deep thought, the deep work comes easily, in a sense of if you're invested in the problem, you're going to give all you have to that, to solving it, I think. Maybe that's just my own personality, and I don't know. That's just kind of how I operate, though. I kind of need that challenge.
It makes sense because I feel myself doing the same thing, right? Schoolwork consumes me, and that's something that I'm passionate about. I know I need to have. Chemistry is full of problems.
Why are you passionate about it?
About school?
Yeah, about that schoolwork. Why does that?
But I think it's exactly what you talked about, though. It's that solution. I love finding the solutions to the problems that are given to me, and that's part of the reason why I have my favorite subjects, right? Some solutions I feel like are worth finding, and some I don't. I don't like English. I don't like finding a solution to, I guess, like poetry. I don't like finding a solution to trying to grab people's feelings with words and poetry and stuff like that. I mean, I don't disrespect that. I think there's a great industry there. If you can get in, but I respect the people that can do that. It's beautiful. A lot of the work that can be done is beautiful, but for me specifically, like chemistry, math, STEM, period, I look at these problems and they fascinate me.
Okay.
I love the way sorry, go.
So no, I don't mean to cut you off. I follow up on that. So you love STEM, you love those kind of problems. Let me ask this. Does what you're going to do with that down the road in your career factor into the amount of engagement that you have now?
So you're asking if...
is it the long-term goals that are driving your short-term? I got to get this assignment done because if I do well on this assignment, then I'm going to get a good grade. If I get a good grade, I go to college. If I go to college, then I'm going to get this job. Then is it?
That does play a good part of it. I definitely would say it's a 50-50. My general passion is I love math. I literally genuinely actually love solving these problems. I go to math class like calculus, and I understand how important a circle is. You look at a circle, it's just a circle, but in trig and sine and cosine, the whole sinusoidal graph system, everything like that, seeing that full circle for me is like, whoa. But then I also know that if I continue to do this well, I can do well temporally and continue to be financially successful. So it definitely, for me, is a good 50-50% for me. And I also know that the Lord wants us to, gain as much knowledge as possible. So that's also kind of, I guess, a good added 5% or 10-15% on top of that. It's not bad to continue to learn knowledge. So I'm just all right, I already like doing it. Let's throw it on.
Well, this sounds to me like a recipe that you have found for deep work. to get engaged in that sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is you've already accomplished half the battle, I think, in just finding that thing that you love.
So then what's the other half then?
Well, the other half is just time getting there.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, you're about to go to college and about
Yeah.
to do all those things,
Yeah.
and then you find that the other part of that is kind of narrowing down. STEM is a broad thing,
it's
right?
very, very
I mean, science, technology, all that. So you've got to figure out where in that you find the most joy,
Mm-hmm.
and then couple that with the financial maximization down the road, and then those two will meet. And then that, to me, that's the recipe. That's that, and you're on that track. I guess that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Once you finalize everything that you're going to be majoring in, that you're going to be focused on, internships, all that. That's, to me, the recipe for deep work and accomplishing and maximizing your time.
I really love that, actually, because that does kind of encapsulate everything we just talked about. That's awesome. I really do like the fact that time's the other half, because time, again, is something that is very much used up and takes a lot of it's a very what's that, it's very we're very dependent on it. It's a very dependable resource that we always have to go back on with anything we want to do. So now I want to talk about kind of our free time. So how and when do we work on personal free time projects? Like how do we as busy people, obviously I'm really busy with school, you're really busy with work and family, but I know that you're still working on your game, you're working on your illustrations, just like your concept art. So how do we find time for that? Like specifically with you, because I think I have a little bit easier time with doing that. I just kind of tell myself, all right, instead of sleeping for 10, 12 hours, I'm going to wake up after 8 hours and I'm just going to do this podcast stuff. So I just kind of tell myself to do it, and I do it. But I think you may be on a little bit more of a time crunch. So, how do you schedule that? Do you have a schedule? Do you have like a scheduler that you try to block time out to do things? Or what's your system?
So I used to I've had two different systems up until a year ago. It was about 15 months ago. I stopped doing this one schedule that I was on, which was go to bed at 1 and get up at 4. And I would draw for 3 hours.
Go to bed at 1?
Yeah.
In the morning? And wake up at 4?
In the morning.
So
I was
you
getting
have
3
3 hours of sleep every day?
I did that for 3 straight years.
Jeez.
And I was working on my portfolio from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. And then I would hop on the bus and go to Seattle for my job.
Before you were home?
I was working in Seattle. I was living in Des Moines at the time.
Okay.
Des Moines, Washington.
Isn't that closer to Seattle than here?
It's closer. Yeah. It's closer. It's by bus. It's an hour bus ride.
Okay.
And so with traffic, and so I would work for 3 hours, and then I would hop on there and ride the bus and work on the bus. Yeah. So I'd take my iPad or my Cintiq and work on the bus, and so I'd just keep going, and then I would work, and then I would come home, draw on the bus, and then I'd eat dinner, be with my family for an hour, and then I was back working for another 4 hours at night on this thing up until midnight or 1 every night. And that was intense, and that was
really grind.
Yeah, that was putting together a portfolio for the game industry, and almost paid off, and got real close to it paying off. But then this job that I'm at now came along, and it was too good to pass up, and so kind of all that work was kind of kissing goodbye. Didn't really matter. I got this job now. It does, so I can't walk away from this new job. So. Long story short, now, I am putting a game together on the side, and I have hardly any time for it, honestly. I don't, in addition to my family and my job, as you know, I'm working with the youth in our church.
You have a pretty demanding church calling.
Yeah, and so with those things combined, and it seems like we have a family who moves into our ward every
weekend.
Yeah, and so I feel like there's always a couple hours every Saturday I'm helping someone move in or move out, and so it's just the time just gets disappeared. I actually get about 3 to 5 hours on my game every week, which is altogether.
Yeah,
it's not enough to really make
much progress. It's really hard.
Yeah, with a creative thing, you don't just sit down and you're immediately productive. You got to get your mindset.
You got to have enough time to get the deep work. Like honestly, like you can do a couple little things, but to really kind of like figure out a game breaking feature that's gonna make the game what the game is, or something that's really going to pull people through. You got to be like, it really takes a long time. Like when I was creating this podcast, I didn't just, Like, no, I probably spent a good 3 to 4 hours designing my business cards, designing all this stuff, thinking about how, like, what direction I was going to take it. My intro I didn't just think of that. It took me hours to find the right music and have the right welcome to the lights on, like, to get my right voice out. Like,
right. Yeah.
But I had that time to do it, so I probably spent 5 hours right there on one Saturday in the deep work mindset. But if you're only getting 5 hours on a whole week that's scarcely spread out, way hard.
It is. I'm designing character archetypes right now, and it's you got to get into that deep work mindset.
Especially with archetypes, man. Like, you figure out who the character's going to be.
Yeah,
that's tough because that can seriously make or break a game like that.
Yeah. I've got the game written. I've got the characters designed with words.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to figure out what they look like. What is their form? What is their quick read? What is?
Well, and you have to make sure that their personality matches with what you make them look like.
Yeah.
For sure. Because, I mean, shoot, we even see this in today. Like, you could look at something like, that's not a Jamie, that's a Mark.
Yes.
Like you can just you can just kind of think of these things. But when you're playing a game, especially being in UX, you got to think about how is the user gonna interact with this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do I want it to be a weird interaction, or do I want it to be like a yes interaction?
Yeah.
And yeses are what sell.
Yep.
And what make it worth it. Not I don't know.
Yep. Exactly.
But then, so how do you get that 3 to 5 hours though? Because 3 to 5 hours, I mean, yes, that sucks, but it's better than nothing.
It's not at one time. It's broken out.
Yeah, it's broken out. But I would still say at least it's better than nothing.
It is.
So
it is.
So then, how do you still get that though? Like,
what's so interesting though? It's this 3 to 5 hours. I'll get half an hour here.
Yeah.
I'll get an hour here. If I see a block of time that's half hour, I actually feel like, oh, that's not enough time to do any damage here, and it's actually discouraging a little bit. And I'm like, oh man. So that is a bit of a challenge. Just getting that small amount of time. How do I do it with 3 to 5 hours? I don't. That's why it's taking so long. It should be already done. But yeah, with that little amount of time each week, it's going to take a while. So I would recommend getting larger time blocks than really just doing the little bits here and there. If you can somehow block that out, it's been a challenge for me to be able to do that.
But yeah, again, just that's the only thing you can do, right?
If you want to make progress,
you just got
kind of have to do that. Yeah,
you have to make the commitment. For any activity you want to do, right? You want to have a job, all right, you're committing 8 hours in your office doing it.
Yep.
You want a family, you're committing, well, at least in your old schedule, an hour a day.
Yep.
Sometimes it's all you can get, but you had it set out, boom, I'm going to make it happen. I set out time to do homework. I set out time to do this podcast, kind of what we have to do.
Yeah.
And then to wrap this up, because I know you have to leave soon, I want to answer one final question. Is time money?
It's time money. Yes. Yes, it is. I see it that way. I see it that way. It's because most people are trading their time for money.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Especially in this modern day when we do have literal currency, not just like trading goods.
Yeah. I've told my employer, I have a contract with my employer that says, as a salary employee, I will give you 40 hours of my life every week in exchange for this amount of money. And time is time, but time's more than that, honestly. Time is life.
Time is life.
Time is eternity.
It's happiness.
Yeah.
It's family. It's love.
Yeah. It's the most important thing you have, other than your health, I think.
Well, but even without, I guess because health can direct how much time you have. So so actually,
if you don't have good health, nothing else matters. Honestly, if you're living in constant pain, nothing else matters.
Which I think could also go emotional pain and physical pain. I just want to clear that up because emotional pain can sometimes hinder you just as much as physical pain would, for sure. And then, I definitely would say time is money as well. But I also agree with the fact that time is also everything else you just talked about. Like, time is a valuable resource. It's important. And it's a key aspect to our lives that we live every single day. And we need to respect that. And we need to think about the things we do and make the good, better, and best choices. Like, just cognitively thinking about it. Like, I'm not trying to be hard, but just thinking about, all right, what can I do that's going to bring value, bring me happiness, make someone else happy, make me happy in this amount of time I have? And sometimes those questions are with our social media use, or they're with our the way we drive, or what some things that we're just doing, like making these kind of decisions. Like right now I'm super duper excited to go to Boise because I don't have to deal with all the traffic. And so this was a big decision I wanted to make. And this actually was something I was thinking about when I was thinking about what school to go to, is that if I live on campus, and I live in Boise, which is a really well-known biking community, I will have good commute times, and I'll be able to more efficiently use my time for the things I want to do, versus here, which is terrible. I-5 parking lot. Literally, I drive across the I-5 bridge in Milton. It's parked like crazy. It's insane, and that's no way. I would personally say that's no way to live. I hate that. But yeah, I think this was an awesome episode. Let's see how long this was. It was a good 40-minute episode. So, and this was a good 40 minutes. This definitely brought value. I hope it brings value to you guys. That's the whole reason why we're doing it. And so now we're gonna end with the high five, and Moeck is gonna be on his way to his continually busy schedule. And actually, I'll be seeing him at 6 o'clock tonight. Yep. But yeah, all right, here we go.
Awesome.
Sweet. Appreciate you having
Thanks for having me.
The team. Yep. All right. And this will be the last time we'll have I don't know, maybe like in the future, like during the summertime before I leave my mission.
Oh yeah.
We'll definitely link up again.
For sure.
Because that'll be good. You know, the audience likes you. I actually don't know. I don't think people actually comment, "Man, that Moeck guy, he's sweet." People don't. I don't think people actually say that on podcasts.
No, I don't think so.
I like talking with you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know, you're a podcast favorite for me.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Good to
all
be
right.
here.
All right. See you. Bye.
Thanks.